Wow, what have you experienced that makes you so confident in that belief that everything happens for a reason? I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I remember this time, like, speaking on it directly. I remember I wrestled with my belief in like God or a concept of God. Right? I was always, since a kid, I had been exposed to so many different religions. Like, I had Muslim uncles, Muslim father, Christian grandmother, Christian other fellow relatives. So even at a young age, I always was like, are y'all both saying two different things? And I just was curious. Like, I ain't gonna lie, but one thing about me, to this day, it's always, even since a kid, bro, my curiosity always has been my strongest characteristic of me as a person. I don't care how scary something is, how worried I am. If I'm curious about it, I'm going to dive off that cliff to find out. I just am. Like, no matter what it is, bro. I just, since a kid, bro. Just started me getting into conspiracy theories at such a young age. I was into all that shit, bro. And so I always wrestle with that belief and everything. Because, when you get introduced religiously to a concept of God, that doesn't always stick with you if you have no intimate relationship with God as an individual, bro. So until you had that individual relationship, that life experience, that something that gives you like, you know what, damn, like I see it, it's never really going to click, and you only believe in God, or you only believe in the universe, or you only believe in purpose on a surface level understanding of life. So, but for me, I started to pay attention to my life more. Not on some like, oh yeah, let me check my to-do list for the day. Let me make sure I'm eating right. I started to pay attention to my life, and I started to notice when stars kind of align. Like, I've had an Uber driver. I've had interesting conversations with fucking Uber drivers that I've learned good shit from. I've been at work at the mall. It might be my break, and I go get something from the mall. And the coincidence, I go in the mall and see somebody I knew since I was younger at the mall. Like, when I started to really pay attention to when shit was like a coincidence, or when shit like an opportunity or a window open, and I started to pay attention to those and take each of them serious. And ever since, is my belief to this day. It's even written in the Bible. It's also probably written in the Quran too. I told you I've read through some of both, elements of both. It even, if you're Muslim, you know about this other book probably. It's like stories of the prophets and stuff like that. I used to read my dad's books. And just this concept that all truly spiritual people deeply know is, I think in the Bible it's written, God gives seeds to sowers. But it's like, once I started to recognize opportunities that came my way and slam dunked them, it's like I kept getting more. It's like ever since I started executing on luck, I kept getting luckier and luckier and luckier and luckier and luckier. And it's like just shit just started happening for me in my favor, just more coincidentally, just back to back to back to this day. To this fucking day. Can I explain it? No. It's just I can only just I can only just tell it like it is. You know what I mean? Mod doesn't know how to spell synchronicities, bro. Oh my god. You got it, bro. You got it. Shit crazy how similar life experience can be in a world full of billions of people that feel separated. Literally, bro. Literally. Can you say an example? An example of what? Like, I just said a lot, so I don't know what you... example of what? How can I reach my core? Is it like a God or something? It really is just, bro, it's just facing your ugliest truth, bro. Steve Gotcha, I appreciate the 27 months, man. Appreciate the 27 months. I read the book of Enoch.
Have you ever read the book of Enoch?
No, people always mention it though. When the stars align. I guess is he saying that? A coincidence would turn into your favor. If I had never went back to school, I would have never started playing music. Going back to school was the biggest waste of my time ever. Like, when I first dropped out, I should have stayed out back in October 2021. Since then, I should have dropped out. But now I fell in love with music because of that, because of going back. Because when I went back to school, I moved out of my pop crib and I moved closer to the university so I wouldn't have to commute. And it was a music store right next to this pizza, whatever store. And I was like, fuck it, I always wanted to play the guitar. Let me go in there. Here I am, 5 instruments later. And the whole vision, like, it literally changed my life. And I would have never started that shit if I didn't go back to school. So, or another one, when I was trying to go to universities, right, and I was like, all right, I want a scholarship because I don't want to go to school and have any type of debt. They had college fairs. And I don't know, Chad, it's like life, let me conclude it as this. Life give you what you can handle, but you just gotta be ready for it. For example, if you're not ready to slam that dunk, I don't think life will hit you with that. You get hit with whatever you're ready for at the right time. I just believe that. Because I think back to them, right? So there was these college fairs going on at my school, right? And I don't even remember them my first 2 years of high school. But my senior year, they had one. Universities would come to our school. Princeton was one of them. We had somebody from Harvard. We had top schools come here to my high school, because my high school had some elite students. Like, we had students go to Dartmouth, Brown, NYU, you name it. We had students that went all over the country to top universities, right? It was a pretty good school. So they would come to our school and do like presentations and connect with the students and teach us about shit. And the time that this fair came around, right, was also the same time I was developing a lot of momentum of like, okay, I do know I want to go to school for free. My SAT scores just came back. Like, I just got my SAT scores back, probably like a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks maybe. And I had lunch earlier in the day, too, conveniently. And the way my high school was, you could have lunch at any time of the day. Like, your lunch could literally be at 2 o'clock. And they call that 7th lunch, and you could leave school early type shit. So I had lunch like kind of in the day where the college fairs didn't leave yet. I used my whole lunch to go there and talk to those people and connect with them. And I met this lady named Stephanie, the older black woman. And she was one of the first people I spoke to, coincidentally, right? And when I spoke to her and told her my story, my message, showed her my receipts from like my SAT score, my grades, what they were becoming, she was so moved by my story. She put me on so much fucking game. Funny story to be, the next year when I ended up going to her university, she wasn't even working no more. She started working at Villanova. She literally didn't even have that job no more. So she put me on game, got the foot in the door for a lot of that shit, and then didn't even end up working no more. I never saw this lady again ever in my life. I saw her twice, right? This first time I met her, she put me on that game. And then there was another college fair at the school district in Philly. And she was there too, and I introduced her to 2 of my homies, and she ended up helping them get full rides as well. So, right, but when that happened, she told me about all this shit, like, oh yeah, so go to these, talk to these people, mention the BOG, it was something called the Board of Governors. Trump discontinued the scholarship now. But one of my years was the last years to get this scholarship, literally. Like, it's just like the timing of things. I don't know, Chad. Like, when you start embracing the wave and like your interests and what you feeling, like where you're directed, against all odds, like there's no certainty in field, bro. There's no certainty. You just have to know, because that's the thing about it. Do you go to WCU? Yeah. So it's a lot of people that even starting this whole Taekwondo shit at the time, right? The end of the semester was probably in May, that spring semester. I had probably like 4K on YouTube. That TikTok video went viral. You know, the Semper Pimp, Aiden Ross. That was April, early April. 2 weeks after that, my first trip ever, being on a plane, the LA trip, changed my life, changed how I see, you know, what more there is to life, right? And then that's when I come back, super motivated, go crazy on content, keep uploading, finish school, May comes. I had this internship with UPenn for Alzheimer's research. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. This was the perfect opportunity. I threw that away. It was a paid internship. I threw that away for a 4K subscriber YouTube channel. I wasn't even monetized yet. Or I think I had been monetized for like 2 weeks. And my highest payday at the time was like $50 or $12. Like it was something, it was like no more than $50 a day that I might have been making. Which, if you do your math, is like, what is that? I don't know how much that is a month. Somebody do the math on $50 a day or something like that, right? Bro, that was in early June or the end of May, one of those two. By the end of June, I had 20K subscribers from 5K or 6K. Right, that's $1,500 a month, bro. That's like a poverty salary, bro. If I'm sitting here betting on that as a career, you know. So nothing was certain, right? By the end of June, I had tripled my subscriber count from like 6K to like 20K or 7K to like 20K. By the end of July, I doubled that to 50K, which was almost triple again. And by the end of August, I had I want to say 70 or something like that. So, but at that time, I'm looking what barely looks like $1,500 a month. You know, that might be $18,000 a year, bro. And I make, never mind, I'm not. But like what that yearly salary was, bro, is just crazy. It was no certainty in what I was doing. Mind you, I had a strong GPA. I think at the time I had like a 3.5. I was in my honors college. I had a lot of programs I was in. I was involved, so I already was a strong candidate for going to pre-med. I already had research on these different programs. I already had all that shit lined up and planned. Like, it was all that shit was secure and certain. It was, definite. And I bet on this shit, and here we are. Make that a month? No, I make way more than 18 a month. 18 a month is like, I made 18. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I can say this because I don't make near that now, but I made 18 a month back in like September 2021. Like, literally. Could you have done both? No. You know what's crazy? I learned that lesson during COVID. And I had this organic chemistry class, or just even school in general. And that's when I first bought my PC, Big Bertha. Shout out Big Bertha, man. And I was streaming, playing the game, and I was doing schoolwork, and they both were doing bad, and they both were interfering with each other. And that's when I experienced, I'm like, you can't serve two masters, bro. You cannot serve two masters. Because it was frustrating dealing with both, like mind you, I'm streaming to one viewer for a long time. Like, one viewer, shit not really getting consistent or showing no type of certainty of success. And then it's messing with my grades because I'm not studying as much because I'm, doing this and putting the time learning this shit and being consistent on this. So it's just like, both of them fucked each other up. TyKwondoe network is crazy. What is there? 70K on Patreon is crazy. Who the fuck do y'all think I am, bro? 70K on Patreon is crazy. 18K a month off just YouTube. I would make something closer to 18K a month off YouTube if I went back to uploading how I usually do, which is like every day, long videos with a bunch of green check marks.